Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Street League Drone Racing. We're going to be kicking off finals here in just a couple of moments. Today, we're joining you from Citrus Springs, Florida at the ranch. That's No Quarter Ranch. Brought to you by LED Girl and LED Boy, one of the most amazing drone racing facilities that we've ever been to. And we're excited to be bringing this race to you today. Today, we're going to be bringing you our top 8 from the day of racing. So go ahead and check out live.streetleague.io. That's going to be your live stream link. Go ahead and share that out to your friends and families. We're going to be kicking this thing off fast and furious in just a couple minutes. Our first heat here going to be Engineer in blue, Mixed Signals in orange, Amari in green, and King in purple. And we're going to give you that launch pad view. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to the start of this race. All right, we've got pilots jumping out on the line. While they get ready, we're going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about Street League Droners. So Street League Drone Racing is a spec drone racing league that we've been working on for a little bit here. Making sure that we're instilling... Oh, here we go. 1 second. Sounds like we're getting word. Engineer was maybe not going to make this race. He had some technical difficulties, but now we're hearing he may be able to. But we'll get back to this. So, Street League Drone Racing is spec drone racing. We're running 7-inch drones here, and we chose that because that was where we found the best racing to be. We've also done some speed limiting that made sure that the racing is the most competitive that it can be. It kind of closes that gap between the really fast pilots and some of the less fast pilots, and it makes them really work for that win, which ultimately leads to a lot more competitive drone racing all around and some really exciting finishes. And I think you guys will get to see some of that as we go into these first heats. So this is our top 8 from our pilots that we ran today. We are really excited to be kicking off Semi-Final A. This is their first heat. We got 2 semifinals. We got Semi-Final A, Semi-Final B. They're each going to run 2 races. The winner of each of those races is going to be advancing to the top 4 to decide who is going to be standing on the podium for this event and earning the most street cred. Our cryptocurrency, that is the only currency we will be accepting to make it the championship at the end of the year. We're going to go check out our pilot line and see how they're doing lining up. And you can see we've got our pilots plugging in their quads. So many LEDs. That's one of the requirements for Street League, is that the drones are visible. And we do our best to make sure the rules they have to be somewhat robust. But we're going to be kicking off this heat in less than 3 minutes here. Looks like we may go a little bit earlier than that as our pilots are working their way back to the line. Once that timer expires, if you aren't able to take off, you're not going to be able to fly in the heat. We're going to go ahead and check out our fora, make sure that we've got video from all of our pilots here. And it looks like we do. Pretty beautiful video indeed. Got some last minute repairs. We've got 20 seconds until we're hands off with the quads. And at that point, the course is closed and the race will be beginning. Not a fan of making these calls, but we do need to keep the race running for the rest of the pilots. So it looks like that's going to be it. The time expiring on Engineer, unfortunately. The course is now closed. We will be commencing this race with mixed signals, Amari and King. Race kicking off in less than 38 seconds. There's a little bit of intensity here, as having your equipment ready to go is a difficult thing to pull off, but luckily for Engineer, he's going to have 2 opportunities to advance to top 4. And they're off and away. Looks like Amari going to be in the lead. Mixed signals chasing close behind. King in 3rd place. Right now, Amari into that over-under portion of the track. And he's going to be chased closely by Mixed Signals. Mixed Signals not really able to catch back up. Amari looking very speedy today. He's put a lot of work into building the fastest drone that he absolutely can for the spec, and I think he's got one here today. Mixed Signals, though, not letting up, making sure that he's there to capitalize, given the opportunity. King, though, working his way around the Dunkaroo section. Back over to Amari. It's going to be the 3rd lap that he's working on, trying to finish that out for the win and the advancement to finals. We're going to have our first top 4 pilot here in just a couple of seconds as Amari works his way around the spiral portion of our track through the slalom, and it's going to be the straightaway for Amari as he takes the win and advances to top 4. Congratulations to Amari, our first top 4 pilot. 2nd place going to go to Mixed Signals. King in 3rd. They're going to have to look for an opportunity in this next round. And we're going to be alternating over here to semifinal B, where we will be deciding who our 2nd advancee is. All right, we're going to be kicking off Heat B here. We're going to be moving on with Hyper, Manny himself, Infinity, and Lead Fingers. Go ahead and get your quads staged, and we're going to run this one to figure out our next advancee. We had some technical difficulties, and we are going to be rerunning that first heat. But for now, we're going to continue on with semifinal B, Heat 1. So go ahead and get your quads on the line, pilots. All right, we've 1 minute and 52 seconds till the start of our next heat. All right, we had some pilots with a couple of video issues there. Looks like we got them resolved, and we are going to be rerunning semifinal A. But for now, we're continuing on to semifinal B, Heat 1, to determine our now first advancee to the top 4. got 50 seconds left until the start of this race. And they're off and away onto the first portion of our track. A beautiful feed of quads with the LEDs on the track, LEDs on the quads. Hyper, though, going to be in the lead. Manny himself out in second place. Actually, looks like he's going to be chasing after Lead Fingers. And they're all through the Dunkaroo into the spiral portion of the track. It's going to be Hyper leading the pack as he goes on to the third and final lap. He's going to be followed closely by Lead Fingers rocking that HD quad. Manny himself now jumping into the second place position as Lead goes down, and it looks like Hyper through the Dunkaroo into the tunnel. He's going to be free and clear, your first advancee into the top 4. Hyper doing it with style, with a little bit of flair there at the end. Second place is going to go to Manny himself. Infinity is going to finish out third here. Nice little crash gate from Infinity there. Great racing from our pilots. Congratulations to Hyper. You're going to be advancing to the top 4 and guaranteeing yourself some extra street cred, the currency of Street League, and the only way to buy your ticket to the championship. We're going to be looking for our next group of pilots. We're going to be rotating back to semi-final A. Our next heat, scheduled for less than 5 minutes from now. This is going to be semifinal A, your other half of the top 8, battling it out for a top 4 spot. You advance by winning a race. You have to get first place. Hyper getting first place there with a 1:15.75, an incredibly fast time. Fast lap of 22.0. That's one of the fastest we've seen this event. Someone managed to slip into the 21s during practice, but not even during qualifying, I don't think. We can see our pilots staging their quads, lighting up their LEDs, working on getting everything ready, and just so, we're going to check out those feeds. They're all looking nice and rosy here in semifinal A. This is going to determine our advancee, our first advancee from semifinal A. Less than 2 minutes till the start of the race here as our pilots get settled in. Let's go ahead and check out that launch stand. Looks like we've got a couple of potentially... we got it going. Here we go, pilots. This is semifinal A. Heat number 1 as they all go into the under-over section. Onto the Dunkaroo. I hear some clanks as quads meet steel, but they all stay up in the air, battling it out. Right now, it's going to be Engineer in first place. On to the second lap. He's going to be followed closely by Mixed Signals, then Amari, then King. Mixed Signals and Amari absolutely battling it out for that second place position, but they're all chasing behind the tails of Engineer as he goes into the spiral portion of the track, and absolutely blazing first lap for him. We're going to see if he's able to improve on that here in the second lap. It looks like the timer's missing laps from Engineer, but right now he is in the lead. Mixed Signals in second place. Then Amari. And that's going to be it for Engineer, taking the win. A first place from him. Mixed Signals in second place, then Amari in third. King finishing out in fourth. This awesome racing brought to you by No Quarter Ranch. LED Girl and LED Boy building out one of the most amazing facilities we've ever had the pleasure of running a race on here at Street League Drone Racing. We're going to be kicking it off into Heat, or Semifinal B, Heat 2. And you can see our pilots gridding up. They've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left until the start of the next heat, whether you're there or not. We're going to be losing Hyper in this one as he's already advanced to finals. And it's just going to be Amari. It's going to be Manny himself, Infinity, and Leadfingers. Course is now closed. We're going to be kicking off this race in 50 seconds. All right, our next heat going to be Heat A, round 2, to determine our fourth and final pilot advancing to finals. We can see our pilots gridding up. This heat going to be Amari, King, and Mixed Signals. Here we go. We've got our pilots all gridded up. This round's going to be Mixed Signals, Amari, and King. And they're off and away, all clean. Looks like Amari with the whole shot there. As he leads the pack. Amari trying to get that victory that I think he believes should be his. Mixed Signal is going to be chasing him down, though. Right now, they're going on into the Dunkaroo. It's going to be Amari, then Mixed Signals, then King. Actually, scratch that. King now moving up into second place. It's going to be Amari in first, though, as he goes on to lap number 3, the last lap of the race. No competition yet. King can see him in his view, but he's off in the distance by about a gate. As they go around the Dunkaroo section through the tunnel with Amari. Amari is going to be able to hang on to it, I think, as he goes around the spiral, around the slalom, and into the straightaway. Amari is going to be your final advancee, going to the top 4. Congratulations, Amari. You're now a top 4 pilot after becoming our Street League champion in last race, race number 1 in Las Vegas. He's looking to do it again in race number 2, Citrus Springs. We're going to be gridding up our top 4 pilots now. to decide our podium. The way this is going to work, last place gets dropped. We're going to run 3 rounds of that. And then it's going to be settled by a 1v1 in our final heat. This race brought to you by the ranch, No Porter Ranch. LED Girl and LED Boy making sure that we felt right at home as we got set up and tried to run the best race that we can. The pilots racing the best race that they can, and ultimately it's just a good old time. So if you're in Florida at any point, want to do some drone racing, this is the spot to do it. Go check them out on multigp.com. And you'll be able to do some drone racing, get into the hobby. It's a great hobby, and we're trying to push it as far as we can here at Street League. All right, we're going to be kicking off finals here, our first heat of finals, top 4. We got 5 minutes on the clock until the next heat kicks off. We've got our pilots getting ready.
The course will be closed in 3 minutes.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be deciding your top 4 order here. We're going to be racing 3 heats. The first heat, 4th place gets dropped. The second heat, 3rd place gets dropped. And your final heat will determine the Street League Drone Racing Champion for race number 2, earning the most street cred in order to have the opportunity to attend our championship. The payment for champs, well, you gotta have street cred. It's the only way you're gonna get in, and it's the only way you're gonna be able to declare yourself
The course will be closed in 2
a
minutes.
history maker in the history books of Street League Drone Racing. All these pilots trying to make their mark here today. They've got 2 minutes and 45 seconds to make something happen.
The course will be closed in 1 minute. The course is now closed. Next race begins in 1 minute.
All right, the course is closed. You may no longer touch your drones. Please proceed back to the flight line.
Next race begins in 30 seconds.
All right, this heat going to be kicking off in 20 seconds.
Next race begins in 10 seconds. Next race begins in 5 seconds.
And they're off and away. Unfortunately, we did not get a launch from Manny himself. He was unable to make it to the start line in time. That's going to be a DNF for him. Hyper, meanwhile, chasing down Amari, it looks like. Engineer chasing down
Amari, lap 1, 21.8.
Hyper. We've
Engineer,
got a
lap
train
1,
of quads
22.5.
here. They're
Hyper,
going
lap 1,
through the
23.0.
split S, through the under over. The loser of this race getting dropped. And we've got a train of quads now. It looks like Engineer hunting down
Amari,
those
lap two,
LEDs
22.5.
of Amari. Amari trying to
Engineer,
hang
lap two,
on to that
22.3.
lead that he's got
Hyper,
right
lap
now.
2, 22.8.
Hyper trying to make a move, trying to not get dropped as a result of Manny himself not making it to this round. This is essentially Heat 2 for finals. And right now, it's going to be the win from
Engineer,
Amari.
Lap 3, 22.6. Amari, lap 3,
Second
22.8.
place going to
Winner is
Engineer. Third place
Hyper,
going to
lap
Hyper.
3,
We're going to go ahead
23.2.
and go over the rules because that was a relatively unique situation. We've not had that happen before. So we're going to go clarify that one.
$30 seconds. Amari, lap 4, 35.4. 10 seconds. Amari, lap 5, 15.2.
All right, it's sounding like we may end up doing a rerun. We have an agreement from all the other pilots. They have the right to earn the spot, but they are currently not using that right. They want a rerun for the pilot who was not able to make it to the line in time. So because we're running on time for the race, we're going to rerun it.
Consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. Consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time.
course will be closed in 4 minutes.
I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time.
The course will be closed in 3 minutes.
All right, so we've had an exceptional occasion here, and we're making some exceptions to
The
accommodate
course
it.
will be closed in 3
Essentially,
minutes.
what happened there was Manny was unable to make it to the line. In an attempt to avoid favoritism or anything like that, we always have the clock determine when the heat starts so that no pilots get any special treatment or anything like that. However, since we're running on time, we're going to run that one back. And because Amari and Engineer decided they would prefer to allow him to race, the good sportsmanship from them is going to allow Manny himself to get a rerun. We're going to run that back. And we're going to see who our first droppee is, who our first eliminated pilot is, here in round number 1, top 4.
The course will be closed in 2 minutes. The course will be closed in 1 minute.
Our pilot's getting everything settled and checked in as we descend towards course close. Course close occurring 40 seconds from now, at which point pilots will have time to situate on the pilot line and we will kick off the heat. This heat going to decide who ends up on the podium and who ends up just shy. Your last place pilot going to get dropped. And then we'll run it back to drop and decide our third place pilot. And they're off and away. A clean start from all of them. Right now the whole shot looks like it's going to go to Hyper into the split S gate. He's going to be chasing Engineer now into the Dunkaroo. Hyper in second place. You can see the LEDs from Engineer's quad as they go on to the next lap.
Hyper, lap 1, 21.8. Amari, lap 1, 30.6. Manny himself, lap 1, 24.1.
Some brilliant racing from our pilots here. Looks like Hyper in first place, Amari in second, Manny himself in third.
Engineer, lap 1, 20.0. Hyper, lap 2, 22.9.
And it looks like we're going to lose Manny
Amari,
on that
lap 2,
one.
23.6.
He's going to be our first droppee, and it's going to
1
leave
minute.
Hyper out in first place, Amari in second, Engineer in third. The final portion of the track, it's going to be Hyper in blue going around onto the straightaway, and
Engineer,
Hyper
lap 2,
takes the win.
25.1.
Amari
Hyper, lap 3, 23.0.
going to come in just behind
Winner is Hyper.
Engineer.
Amari, lap 3, 24.0.
Excellent racing there. Manny laid it all out on the track. And the excellent sportsmanship
30
from both
seconds.
Amari and Engineer, allowing them to not only maintain the good relationship with their fellow pilots, but also their piloting allowing them to advance further. Your top three, it's going to be Hyper, Amari, and Engineer, but in what order, we don't yet
10
know.
seconds.
We're going to be kicking off the next heat here momentarily. So
Engineer,
stay
lap
tuned.
3, 43.7. Amari, lap 4, 44.7. The course will be closed in 4 minutes. The course will be closed in 9 minutes. The course will be closed in 8 minutes. course will be closed in 7 minutes. The course will be closed in 6 minutes. The course will be closed in 5 minutes. The course will be closed in 4 minutes. The course will be closed in 3 minutes.
All right, we've got pilots, we've got thumbs, we've got quads on the line and ready to go.
The course will be closed in 2 minutes.
We've got start tones. And they're off and away. It's going to be Hyper, Amari, and Engineer. All clocking in their first pass through the start gate and now down through the split S gate. Who's going to be the pilot to get dropped this round? Right now, it's looking to be Hyper as he chases down and hunts those LEDs of Amari and Engineer. Amari, our previous champion from the Las Vegas drone race, Street League Drone Race 1.
Engineer, lap 1, 21.4.
He's now hunting
Amari,
down
lap 1,
Engineer.
21.9.
Going
Hyper,
on to lap
lap 1,
number
22.3.
2. Engineer looking very fast out on the track, going through the Dunkaroo. A beautiful one from him. Amari chasing close after. And Hyper sitting out in third place, trying to make something happen. We've seen a giant fishing reel before from him in sim racing. Is he going to be able to do it IRL
lap 2,
on the streets where it matters in
Amari,
Street
lap
League?
2,
They're
22.5.
up through the
Hyper, lap 2,
under-over
22.5.
section, through the split
1
S,
minute.
and all the way to the Dunkaroo. And a little bobble there from Hyper. He's going to go down, and that's going to be it for him as Engineer and Amari finish out their pact. It's going to be third place for Hyper as
Engineer,
Amari
lap 3,
finishes his heat.
22.5.
Engineer finishes
Amari,
his
lap 3, 22.9.
Hyper with a
Winner is
valiant effort, but he's going to finish out the event in
Hyper,
third
lap
place.
3, 30.3.
A little flippy-floppy action from him. He's not too upset. He's going
30
home
seconds.
with a ton of street cred for the podium, as well as some cash prizes. Great racing, pilots. We're going to be kicking off our third and final heat of the top 4. It's going to be a 1v1, Amari versus Engineer.
10 seconds. The course will be closed in 9 minutes. The course will be closed in 8 minutes. The course will be closed in 7 minutes. The course will be closed in 6 minutes.
Pilots gridding up. We're going to be kicking off the final heat of the race. It's going to be a 1v1.
The course will be closed in 5 minutes. The course will be closed in 4 minutes. The course will be closed in 3 minutes.
It sounds like we've got our pilots just about staged here. We're going to kick this off. Here we go. We've got tones. We've got pilots in the air. It's going to be Amari versus Engineer. And it looks like right now Engineer in the lead. Is Amari going to be able to catch him? He's sure trying hard. He clips props with him. That's going to let Engineer have a little bit of a bobble. And Amari into the lead now, into the Dunkaroo. He's got the fastest quad that he was able to build. He did some special sauce to it to make sure that he could hang with the best of the best. And the best of the best right now is going to be Amari and Engineer going on lap number 2. Amari in the lead. The previous Street League race champion from Las Vegas is now leading the pack again today in our final 1v1 heat. Engineer versus Amari. Through the tunnel they go into the spiral section. Amari on a tear, looking smooth, looking clean as he goes on to lap number 3. Engineer not quite able to catch up. Is he going to be able to do it through the under-over portion of the track? Not quite gaining too much there as Amari keeps it nice and clean now into the Dunkaroo and then the tunnel. An amazing line from him there, and the bobble from Engineer. And it looks like it's all falling apart from Engineer. He may have to settle for second as Amari goes on to the final straightaway. And it's going to be Amari, your Street League drone racing champion for race number 2. He is the 2-time, and he spikes the quad, but can't kill it because that's how we do it here. We race the best drones, the best pilots at the best tracks all day long to find out who the Street League champion is. And And that's going to be Amari setting a 1:13.49 for your final race. Congratulations, Amari, on the win. Engineer taking home second place. Not too shabby for his first Street League race. Absolutely killing it. It still flies. Amari's quad. He tried to spike it and couldn't kill it. That's how we roll. We're going to go ahead and take a moment and bring our podium pilots in and award our prizes.
Amari, lap 532.0.
And that's it. It's over, said, and done. We have discovered our podium. We're going to bring it on in with Hyper. So this is our first Street League drone race here in Florida. This is your first Street League race. In general, to spec the racing and the competition. Start of the competition. How was the competition at this race? How would you describe your opponents going into the top four there?
I mean, everyone else in the finals was a DRL pilot, so that's kind of hard, to be honest with you. They're all pretty experienced with 7-inch quads. That's what they fly on the show. It's what they fly all the time. It's fairly similar to what we're flying.
Absolutely, but even said, you managed to take a couple of heats there during points rounds and qualifying from both Amari and Engineer. Do you think that you're at a similar level as them? Do you think that there's an opportunity for you to come back and maybe show them up?
Yeah, I think a little more practice time. Just, put in more work, get more time in, stick time. It's always just a battle to get more.
And of course, Amari is always known for building the fastest spec drones that anybody could imagine.
He is. I don't know what that man eats, but he builds some insane spec quads.
Yeah, so anyway, you looked pretty great out there, and you threw hands absolutely with the best of them. So congratulations. Here is your third place trophy. Thank you so much for attending.
Thanks so much, Scott.
We'll be sending you you'll have to let us know what your Bitcoin address is, because that's how we do things around here. And we'll figure it out.
For you shortly.
Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we're going to have Engineer. So, Engineer. How was that?
Dude.
You went into top 4, had to throw hands with all of them.
Yeah.
How'd that progression feel for you?
So, I haven't processed that yet. Now, qualifying was, you could look at the points. It was pretty clear that, Mason and I... Amari, where do you qualify, actually? You had, besides the one pack, yeah, but you had some hot times. So Amari obviously has some hot times. Mason can throw down some hot times. I think Mason has the fastest lap on the track. But I was really comfortable going into it, and I had no reason to be, worried at that state and time. So the first turn, I think I had the whole shot on him. And then by the time we were through the knot tunnel, I don't know what happened. So we're going to have to watch both sides of that DVR and figure that out. Because you got in front, and all of a sudden I was like, what the heck? Because
I think both our audience and myself know that the DVR is wild.
Okay.
So I'm going to be looking forward to watching that back on the stream
So,
for sure.
My thought process mid-heat was like, well, let's reel him in now, right?
Yep.
And, you know, you've learned this, I've learned this, Amari knows this from flying DRL. You need to be calculated in when you strike. And
Yes.
I was doing exactly that. So you can't just, like, overcook it into the next turn that you get behind because you've got 3 laps to catch him, so use it.
Yeah.
So I was pulling back, and I was flying clean, and I was happy. I'd actually love to see the lap times.
Yeah.
Because my first lap was fine, obviously not the fastest start I've ever had because something happened and then prop wash. But then I know my second lap was fast, and I could tell that I was reeling him in. Beauty of the LEDs, especially Amari's. You can see
Yeah.
everybody.
You could absolutely see him. We made him turn those down for this race, so
You
you're
did?
welcome
Awesome.
for that one.
I appreciate it. So, so we go into the third lap, and I can tell I'm still gaining. And by the Dunkaroo section, I figured I would be able to catch him if I gave it everything.
Mhm.
And I threw it in, and I think barely. It might not have been a barely clipped. I hit the
Yeah.
gate, but it was. If that had landed, I think I could have caught him. But
Yeah.
either way, phenomenal flying, bud. And
Yeah.
he's not listening.
Yeah.
Phenomenal flying. It was a lot of fun. It was a great
Yeah,
race.
awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a trophy for you. So this is your trophy. We will be needing you to provide us with a Bitcoin address to send your earnings to, and also your street cred. So thank you so much for joining us, and also awesome racing.
Yeah, thank you, Sky.
Yeah.
And Lead Fingers and Jay Rice. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we're going to be bringing on our winner again. This is the second time that we will have had the conversation of me sending you Bitcoin. And
the
also,
third time that's happened.
and
actually.
also street cred. Amari's a big fan of Bitcoin,
Big crypto fan. That's for sure.
and now you're out here mining street cred. How did you pull off the win there? Because you weren't getting first in those first
No,
4
I was not.
races.
Well, first off, as we all know, that Street League Craig is proof of speed, so that's what I was out here mining today doing.
Yep.
So honestly, the way I love the format so much. It's so unique in that it rewards consistency on top of speed.
Mhm.
So I definitely was not in contention those first like 2 or 3 heats. Like I remember like the first heat, it was just me and Manny battling, and every time I took
Yeah.
a turn, I would see that Hyper and Engineer were like 4 obstacles ahead, and I'm
They were
like,
going
I'm
really fast.
happy I'm battling Manny right now.
You'll have to tell him that next time you race on
Yeah,
DRL.
100%.
Yeah, so and that was another fun thing. Our top 4 pilots, DRL pilots, plus Hyper.
Plus Hyper. Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. But you pulled it off. Congratulations
Thank you very
on a
much.
second first place. Do you think you're going to be showing up at Champs?
Absolutely.
All right. That's what I like to hear. I am looking forward to seeing you there and at many future Street League races. So here
Absolutely.
is your prize. Again, we're going to need a ETH and Bitcoin address from you so we can get you your street cred and Bitcoin.
Awesome. If I hold against the sign, you guys can read it.
There we go.
Fantastic. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Want to shout out here, Orca, obviously. New V2 goggles are incredible. First day I used them was yesterday.
Yeah.
They're plenty fast. Let's see here.
I like
first.
your antenna on
Oh,
them,
yeah,
the
no,
best.
This was from
It's-
Imperious. He got like literal hands, and so I just popped one on top of the antenna.
So you guys threw hands
We
and
threw
they
hands.
ended up on
yeah,
the antenna.
Catch these hands. Exactly.
That's
Yep.
that's wonderful. Anybody else you'd like to thank?
Immersion RC, absolutely. Ghost was rock solid all day. Best link that I could talk about. Chill. Shut up. Let's see here. Fox here, obviously. Redux Air, fantastic ESCs. I'm sure I'm missing some. 523, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was awesome. Thank you guys so much for holding an awesome event. And this, I've never been here before. I've never been to Champs here. It's my
Same.
first time being here. This is an incredible venue.
Yeah, the ranch, No Quarter Ranch here in Citrus Springs, Florida, an awesome host. Thank you so much to them, allowing us to race and ultimately have such an awesome competition. Thank you, pilots, for attending, each and every one of you, especially you, Amari, for providing us with a top-notch
Appreciate it.
competition,
Absolutely.
the
Smoke
smoke
provider.
provider. So thank you so much for joining us, guys. This is going to be it for our broadcast here on Street League Drone Racing. Join us next time. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and we've got a wonderful Discord filled with an awesome community. So feel free to jump in there, and we'll do some sim racing and real-life racing here in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.